Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome to the FAI Cup preview show. Delighted to welcome our resident Derry fan, JP. How are you, JP?
All good, Keith.
Good stuff. And Ross from LOI Fan TV. Ross, obviously Shelbourne fan. What's the crack?
All good, Keith. All good now. A bit nervous ahead of Sunday, but yeah, excited.
Yeah, two red corners here. Yeah, looking forward to myself actually as well. So it should be a good game. But Ross, it's written in the stars, isn't it? Damien Duffy's going to come out with the trophy here.
That's it. And he said it's the pinnacle of his career, and he's won Premier Leagues. He's done it all, really. So for him to say that and come out and say that just shows you how much it means to him. You can see it all season. We had every fan of the country was saying he won't make it till the summer. He won't last. He won't do this. He won't do that. And look at him now, safely survived. That was the main objective for us, and in a cup final. So can't ask for much more from Damien Duff. His first year in senior management, and he does that. You have to take your hat off to him, whether you're a Shells fan or not. It's been an incredible season for us, and hopefully we can top it off on Sunday with a good result.
Yeah, they haven't won the cup since 2000. It's a long time, isn't it? And I'm sure the Shells fans going to be well up for this, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been plenty of years of kind of frustration on and off the pitch, bouncing up and down between the Premier and the First Division. It's been a tough few years, so I think we've earned the right to be able to go, hopefully enjoy a good day out in the Aviva. Yeah, really excited for it. It's been a long time coming. Obviously, he said 2000. Jesus, it's been a long time since we've
not a water on the bridge since then.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, the excitement is really, you can feel it in the fan base, and there's been something about this season that's felt different to the previous years and the previous regimes under Morris and stuff. It's a lot more positive. The fans are kind of really behind Duff and this group of players. It's kind of a young group of players. Are still a lot to learn themselves, and they're only going to get better and better. A lot of them signed up for next year as well, which kind of shows the spirit in the camp. They're not looking to jump abroad or jump to a Rover, for example. So yeah, I think there's a really positive signs around Shells at the moment. And yeah, hopefully now Sunday can do the business.
Yeah, JP, Derry haven't won it since 2012. So it feels like a long time for Derry, though, doesn't it? Because they've been in a final since, obviously, as well. I won't mention that to you. But yeah, it'd be a massive coup and a show of intent, wouldn't it, for Rory Higgins if he actually landed this cup going into next season as well, in terms of looking to maybe challenge Shamrock Rovers, for example.
Yeah, we all know that. Yeah, we all know that the sign of good teams is you always need that one trophy to kick you off, and we have a good opportunity now on Sunday. They won the cup and springboard ourselves towards a proper challenge of Shamrock Rovers next year. Rovers for Stephen Bradley's first trophy as a manager, I think, was the FAI Cup in 2019, and they've now won 3 titles back to back. So that's what cup success can do. You mentioned it. It's 10 years since we've won it. It's 8 years since we've been in a final. I started following Derry sort of late 90s, early millennium, and I think it's the longest we've ever gone without winning it, and it's the longest we've ever gone without being in a final since I started following them. So it's great to be back in the final. Look, Derry and Shelbourne were an old enemy once upon a time, and it's great I've heard so much about the Derry and Shells finals in the 90s, and it's great they've been maybe experienced one myself. All right, the rivalry's probably not what it used to be back in, but still Derry and Shelbourne, and one I'm really looking forward to it. My first final, FAI Cup final, was in Polka Park in 2002, when we beat Shamrock Rovers, and maybe we've won in 2002, we've won in 2012, and maybe can we do it in 2022 as well? Let's hope so.
Yeah, key players for you, JP, if you had to pick 3 for Derry City going into this one.
Well, I'll have to start with the captain, Patrick McElhinney, or otherwise known as Fats. Just as we talked about him in the Team of the Year show, and he just keeps that engine going in midfield, keeps the ball moving. He's adapted his role this year compared to what we saw him in the past at Dundalk, and he's playing more deep lying role, and it's kind of like a quarterback, and absolutely he's our best player, I think. He's our captain, and he's been there and done it. He scored the winning goal a cup final before, and absolutely he's going to be key. His experience will be key, and he's won the cup with Derry as well 10 years ago, so he's gone full cycle. So hopefully now that and he was in that team that last lost the final as well, so I'm sure there'd be a wee bit of fire in his belly for that. Second man is, I think, Mark Connolly. We've seen how much he's improved our defence since the summer. We lost Owen Cole, who was our captain. He was the leader of the back line, and it was always going to be hard to replace. But Rory went and done it, and what a signing Mark has been. I don't think we've conceded very many goals since he's been here in League or Cup. I think we conceded 2 goals in the run. I think one was Rovers, one was Footy. But the experience and the quality that he's added to that back line, and he's just made everyone around him better as well. And I think I'm going to say Michael Duffy for the third man. I know he hasn't played much this season, but again, same as Patrick McElhinney, he's won leagues and cups. He's experienced it, and no doubt that he'll be wanting to do it with his hometown club as well. It's why he's came back to Derry. He's come back to win trophies. He scored a couple of goals towards the end of the season, and I think it'd be absolutely fantastic if he could pop up with the winning goal on Sunday.
I disagree with that now.
Yeah. Fair point though, Ross, isn't it?
No, literally every player JP names them, my stomach's dropping at the thought of it. Like, there's so much quality in that side.
Better stop it, please. So, to be fair though, as well, he brought up kind of a point there. The fact that Derry are very experienced, they've got guys who've actually done this before, maybe with Dundalk and other clubs as well, and actually been with Derry in the past and that as well. But there's a lack of experience in the Shelbourne team in that sense. Obviously, Brendan Clark is one that's very experienced, and they'll need him to be on his game, I feel.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. It probably the big area of concern is kind of how our team is going to react to the occasion playing in the Aviva. A lot of them probably for the first time. Duff will instill that belief in them, instill that confidence, but there's not when you're walking out onto that pitch, 30,000 fans, whatever it's going to be on the day. You can't practice for that. You can't prepare for that. It's going to be a completely different scenario to what they've experienced before. Whereas obviously your Duffys, your McElhennys, they've played in your big European nights, they've played in cup finals, they've been there, done that, and that's going to be a huge advantage for Derry on the day. And yeah, it's a daunting task for Shells. They're rightfully underdogs for this, on paper, obviously looking at the two teams and looking at the experience. But as I said, like, you kind of have nothing to lose. Like, if for Duff, no matter what happens, fantastic season. Off the pitch has been great. It's talk of investment coming in, really, really exciting off the pitch as well. So I think for Shells, it's kind of not a free hit per se, but I think whatever happens, I think we can be really, really proud of the season. And I think that will maybe give the players a little bit of confidence as well, in terms of maybe being able to kind of know that they're not going to get a lot of stick if they go out and lose the game. They're going to be kind of supportive of fans, and the fans kind of understand the situation going out against these players. But I do have a sneaky feeling we could cause them upset. Never write off Shells. So yeah, I'm sneakily think we can do it, but it's going to, as you said, it's a daunting task against the quality of those players that JP was naming, and much more on that side as well.
If you had to pick 3 key players for Shelbourne, who are the 3 most important players on the day for you?
I'd love to name Matty Smith, but he's obviously unavailable. He'll hopefully be with us.
He can't play for Derry.
Like that shows the fact that they're able to loan him out, player of his quality, just shows you everything you need to know about him. He's obviously a big loss. Shane Farrell, a big doubt as well, but he would be one that you'd look at. Been very versatile. He's played at wing back at times. I would expect him, if he is starting to play in that front 3, especially in Matty Smith's absence. So I would expect him to be featuring in that front 3 if he is to start. And I think it's one of those where you're more likely to take a chance on starting him rather than bringing him on. So you're only you're only using 1 sub to take him off if he gets injured, rather than 2 to bring him back off again, if you get me. So I do think it's worth the risk if he is in a shape to start, to just go for it and to see how it plays out. But that's definitely, I think he's 6 goals, 7 assists this season for Farrell. And as I said, he's played as part of that back 5 as well. So that is really, really impressive stats from him. And compared to his last time in the Premier Division as well, has really, really stepped it up. Didn't really get going last time under Morris, but I think under Duffy he's just found a new lease of life. He's been fantastic for us, and really the fans love him. Everyone loves him at the club. He's a real cult hero, and I'm praying he's given the all clear for Sunday. I think you have to name Sean Boyd as well as a man to watch as well. 15 goals in all competitions this season. The FAI Cup has been one where he's grabbed a few as well against Bows. I think he got quarter final, massive performance from him. Leads the line superbly. You can see the difference when he's not there. When you have a Dan Carr kind of standing in, it's not the same. And one thing I say about Sean Boyd is
it's not the same either. Is that a different?
No, exactly. And Boyd, he's kind of fearless. He has no fear in him, and obviously going up against Connolly and the likes, it's going to be a huge task for him, and it's a huge battle. But I think it's one he'll relish, and it's one to be right up for. Probably will get booked. Hopefully not sent off. He will get booked. But I think
if anyone's gone to the bookies to put a bet on, that has to be the bet, surely.
Yeah. It's probably suspended at this stage. I'd say they've not taken odds on that at all. Like, they're not taking bets on him getting booked. But I can see him sneaking a goal for some reason. I can just kind of envisage that a little bit. Him nicking a goal for us. But yeah, obviously big. I think how he plays will be a big determining factor in how the game goes for us, I think. Then I think at the back, you're looking for a big performance from Luke Byrne. I think you mentioned Brendan Clark there as well. He probably have a couple of big saves to make, but I think Luke Byrne at the heart of that back three or back five, whatever you want to call it, I think his experience, he has played in big games. He's our captain, massive player for us, has been immense this season. And his performance is going to be crucial for us as well. And mind, and I think it could be if it's a Negru there beside him on the right of him, young player in a big game, looking after the lads beside him, looking after the lads in front of him. I think Luke Byrne, will have to, he's obviously our leader, he's a quality player, and he's going to have a massive game for us to get something out of this.
JP, the big pitch should suit Derry City, should it?
Well, that's the that's what everybody's saying anyway. Shelbourne, with 4 games against Shelbourne this year, and they've made it really tough for us. The 2 ones we had down there was 2 1-0 wins, 2 scrappy goals in them games. Magdalene got the winning goal in the first game. I think keeper spilled it, and then the second one was great and deflected effort. And Shelbourne have come up here and they've really give us 2 hard games. Came from behind to beat us the first time, and probably they were unlucky not to win a few weeks ago. And at the same time, they probably went away and they end up feeling thankful that they got the point with the pressure Derry put on them. But with the big pitch, you would expect that Derry might be able to stretch the game a wee bit more than what they were able to do in the Brandywell. And I think it's this kind of game on this kind of pitch, the size of it, that you might need your likes of Michael Duffy's, and they make the most of it. And yeah, I think Derry have to utilise the size of the pitch if they're going to get around this Shelbourne team, because they are really well drilled. They're hard to break through, and I think that's the way to get past them, is they get the ball wide and get it in the box rather than trying to play through.
Ross, how are Shelbourne going to line up, do you think? I don't see any surprises really. It'd be the same system, you'd imagine, the 3 at the back. How are they going to line up?
Yeah, obviously Clark and goal, your back 3 of, I think you go with Negru on the right of the back 3. I think he gives that little bit of balance. I think obviously I'm not mad in playing 3 left footers at the back. I like having that bit of balance, that right footed player on the right there. So I think you go with that. I like that little bit of balance at the back. Luke Byrne, of course, in the middle. I think Shane Griffin then to the left of him. Wing backs J.R. Wilson. I think you go with Gavin Malloy. You could see out in Waterford took his goal really well. Gives that bit of steel as well. I can kind of tuck inside at times, and if we're getting outplayed in the middle of the park, you can kind of get stuck in and tuck inside there. So he'll be very important, and I need to get him into the team. In the middle, then I'm going to go Mark Coyle and JJ Lunny. Lots of energy, lots of kind of power in there. 2 very energetic lads. JJ Lunny, a little bit very elegant on the ball, good footballer, lovely left foot, and I think that could be crucial. He's been huge for us this season, just in terms of, I think we started off the season with Coyle and Dervin, and they're a little bit too similar, kind of breaking to play, but not much kind of substance on the ball, kind of giving it away a bit cheap at times, whereas Coyle and Lunny seem to have that nice kind of balance where Coyle will go win you the ball. He's a very good player, Coyle, in his own right, but he'll go win you the ball, give it to Lunny, and Lunny can spray it around nicely then, but he also can get around the pitch. Then the front 3, obviously the big question mark is Shane Farrell. It's a huge one that both sets of fans are going to be keeping an eye on before the game on the team sheet, because it's a huge one. Ideally, he's on the right. If not, you're probably looking at Brian McManus coming in there for him. You can also kind of drop into the middle as well and kind of help out in there for getting overrun at times, which is a likely scenario. Super Jackie Moylan on the left, 10 goals, 5 assists this season. Been superb, and he's been I don't know if you watched much of him in the first division, but I kind of knew he was going to be a star. Like, you could see behind me, had that kind of X factor.
Shocked the Bohemians let him go. Shocked. I said at the start of the season as well. I couldn't believe it. Like, it wasn't even a hindsight thing. Like you, I was the same that way.
Yeah. You'd wonder if they saw it, kind of had their Ali Coots and their Liam Burts and players like that, and kind of just kind of prioritize, and your juniors coming in. But for me, Jack Mullen, I couldn't believe they didn't give him a chance there. Like, he walks into that team and he's a super footballer. You can see by the goals he's putting up this season so far. I think he's only going to get better next year as well. He's only 21.
Good dribbling ability as well, though, hasn't he?
Oh, amazing. And there is some games where he can be a little bit anonymous at times. Yeah. And that is one kind of fear factor going into this, is that I think he needs to kind of be brave with the ball and things like that. And it is a game where you can shy away and just play 1 touch, 2 touch passes instead of maybe trying to get at your man. And it is one of those games where you can kind of see him, maybe the pressure being there for him. But I have full belief he has what it takes to put on a show here. And he's definitely one to keep an eye out for. And then Shawnee Boyd leading the line. We touched on it, obviously, in the 3 players to watch. But yeah, for me, he's going to be a handful, hopefully, for Connolly and whoever it is McJanet or whoever is centre half for Derry. So, yeah, I think that's the starting 11 for me.
JP, how are Derry going to line up? I think McJanet might be left back for this one. What do you think?
Well, we'll see. It's interesting because this time last year, Rory was in favour of a similar system of a back 3/5. This year they started this year with that system, but he moved a back 4 for the majority of the season, and that resulted in Cameron moving the left back. They facilitated Shane McGlynny at centre back, and both have done relatively well in them positions. I can't see him diverting from that really, because it's what we've over the course of the majority of the season. It's what we've done when we played Shamrock Rovers in the quarter-final cup and we beat them. So I'm going, obviously, Brian Maher in goal. No question about that. At right back, I think Ronan Boyce comes in there. We're thinking maybe if Diallo hadn't been suspended, maybe Dummigan might have went in there, Diallo into midfield, but I think Ronan Boyce goes in the right back. And then we're going Mark Connolly, Shane McElhinney is the 2 centre backs, and I think Cameron McJanet plays left back. Going into midfield, I think we've got Dummigan and Patrick McElhinney. We know Dummigan, he's been nominated for Player of the Year, along with Mark Connolly. So shows the kind of season he's had. For me, he's been Derry City's Player of the Year, to be honest with you. No matter what role he's played in the team, whether it's been in midfield, right wing back, left wing back, he's done it superbly. He reads the game superbly as well. He's just an all-round great footballer. Very versatile as well. And spoke already about Patrick McElhinney and his new adapted role that he played this year, and he's done it brilliantly. And I think he starts in midfield alongside Cameron. He likes to come, take a ball off at the fence and get the game moving. And then I think he goes Patchen in there. I think Patchen's had a wee bit of a dip in form over the last few months in the season, but I think he has been carrying an injury. And he can't seem to shake it off. But I think Patchen goes in the midfield. Up front, Michael Duffy goes in the front 3. I think Michael Duffy goes on the left. I have a feeling he's probably going to go with Brandon Kavanagh on the right, but he could go with Graydon. I'm not 100%.
That was the one I was thinking. Not sure myself.
He might go Ryan Graydon for pace, power, running at them, or Brandon Kavanagh. I'm undecided in that one. And then I think Jamie McGonigal plays up front. We know he started off the season well. Went through a spell where he couldn't score, and then he scored the opening goal in the semi-final against Treaty. Scored the opening goal in the quarter-final against Rovers. And I think he scored against Oliver Bond Celtic as well. So he's got the bug for scoring in the cup games. And I think he made a played in a cup final up in the Irish League for Crusaders too. So he's got that experience of cup final repertoire in his locker. So I think McGonigal plays in the middle of the front three. Even though, as we say, he couldn't maintain his early season form, but he's still a danger when he's on the pitch.
Ross, how are Shelbourne going to win the game?
Tough question. Yeah, I think it's
but I don't know how they're going to win the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. See, you're naming that team, and it's hard to find many weaknesses in it, really, to be honest.
To be fair, I'll interrupt quickly there. To be fair, a cup final is a cup final. Like Derry are the better team than Shelbourne. The league table doesn't lie, but the cup, it's a completely different kettle of fish, you know.
Yeah.
Derry know all about upsets. In '94, I think it was, we went in and Sligo were a first division team and they beat us 1-0.
Yeah,
there you go.
Easily happen.
And if
but apart from that, how are Shelbourne going to win?
Yeah. But as JP was saying, look at the head-to-head so far this season. Not an awful lot in it at all whatsoever. And I think Duff maybe not that he has the formula to beat them, but he has a blueprint there that seems to be quite good in neutralizing Derry's kind of star men. And I think it's obviously it's going to be a case of Derry have 60, 70 probably % of the ball. But I think Shell's keeping their shape, frustrating Derry, getting to half time at 0-0, whatever it is, kind of getting in, not conceding any silly goals, kind of being strong at set pieces and waiting for your opportunities, their own set pieces, getting the big lads up from the back, to see if you can nick something. Like I think cup finals sometimes it can be an underwhelming watch. Like it can be actually quite a poor game, and I'm hoping it's a crap match. Like I think that's how we're going to win the match. It's going to be a terrible game of football, but we get an opportunity and we take it. And I think we have the players in the final third that can create a chance and create a couple of chances. And I think it's going to be a case of just sitting back, frustrating Derry, hitting them on the counter attack, that little bit of pace we have on the break, and just hope we can keep a clean sheet, which is obviously going to be a very, very difficult task. But I think if you can keep a clean sheet, they always have a chance, and that's the objective of the game. But quick one, JP, Diallo obviously out. How big a blow is that? It's a quick one.
Huge. It's been a great signing for us. As he came in, he reads the game so well.
I've heard great things. Haven't seen an awful lot of him, but I've heard great things about him.
He can play in front of back four. He can dribble with the ball as well. He's not just your typical holding midfielder that just breaks up a play and gets rid of it. He forward. It's something very similar to Cameron Dummigan as well. Like so, whenever we realised that he was going to be suspended, the words in everybody's lips was Cameron Dummigan will be there. So it will be a big miss, because as I say, him being in there probably changes the dynamics of the team. You probably maybe one of Patchen or McLinney, and with McLinney being the captain, it's probably McLinney gets a nod and he plays further forward, which then allows him to link up well with Duffy. We know what the relationship they had at Dundalk and how damaging it was for teams there. So that's probably the change that mix, or could go what was in the quarter final against Rovers was Patch and McLinney both played, but McLinney played on the right of the front three. So it is a miss, but I think we've got the personnel there that we can cope with it. It's just about what formula can Rory use. Maybe did he have in mind of a formula that he was a formation or a formula that he was going to play to try and break down the Shelbourne team, because as we know in the head-to-head this year they've been very stubborn against us and we've struggled. And maybe was that his idea? Maybe was to get Patrick McLinney further forward. They link up a play with the front three, but we'll have to wait on Sunday to see. But he's going to be a big miss. Yeah.
Are you going to win the game, JP?
I think we have to move the ball quick, especially if Shells, like as Ross says, they're going to sit back and try and hit us on the counter. And if they decide that for a minute that they can hit us on the counter and we turn the ball over, we've got to move that ball quickly, get it in the front three, get it into Duffy especially, because we know how damaging he can be when he gets in around the box. We get, again, touching on what Ross said, Derry will have the majority of possession. It's what we do with it. I think most games this year against Shelbourne, we've had the
Patience will
majority.
be key, will it, JP?
It has to be patience. We can't rush it either. When I say we move the ball quick, we can't rush it either. Like if Shells are sitting in their system, waiting to break on us, and we have the ball, we have to be patient and try and find that gap, rather than trying to force it. Because once you start to force it, then you kind of panic and you lose your rhythm a wee bit. So it will take patience. We saw it in the two games in Tolka Park. That's what it took. It took patience, and we scored late on with the goals. Again in the Brandywell as well. That Joe Thompson came up with an equaliser. He waltzed in between three centre backs, and we put the ball in the box. So could it be a case that we might need to play that kind of sort of game at some stage in the game, is just getting the ball wide and putting it in the box rather than trying to feed it through the striker or the wide men. But look, it will be a difficult game. The 4 games have been they haven't been great games this year. I don't imagine this will be any different. But it's about who handles the occasion better. And as is if they're going to win it, they're going to have to utilise the big pitch and get Michael Duffy in the game, the wide men especially, but especially Michael Duffy in the game as much as possible.
Ross, prediction?
Uh,
Can't go against Shelbourne, can you now?
no, not at all. It has penalties written all over it, to be honest with you, potentially. But I'm going to go for a 1-0 Shells win in 90 minutes.
In 90 minutes. Maybe in the 90th minute as well. JP?
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm going to say 2-1 Derry.
2-1 Derry. Brilliant stuff. Look, lads, thanks very much for coming on. Really enjoyed that. Fair play to you, and best of luck to you, I suppose, as such on Sunday. Thanks very much.
Keith. Best luck, JP.
Best luck, Ross.